All right. So what do we learn? Now we're doing the Dvar Malchut. The Dvar Malchut are speeches. It's a series of speeches that were given by the Rebbe, in 1990, 1991, 1992. And they're especially, this was right before the Rebbe had his stroke, which rendered him mute, so he wasn't able to speak. So these are like the final directions that the Rebbe is giving to us until the Moshiach is revealed, the Rebbe comes back revealed and redeems the Jewish people. Okay, like all the things we said, wakes up the Jewish people, educates the Jewish people, directs the Jewish people. But nevertheless, we have to know what to do. We have to be ready. We have to be in tune with those old things. Like, as the language of the Rambam, Maimonides, we have to expect the Mashiach to come. We have to expect him to come every moment. So we have to know what it means when Mashiach is going to come. What does exactly it mean? So it says what it means mainly is the Mashiach is going to come. And the main thing he's going to do is make the Jewish people more active in serving the creator of the universe. Torah, commandments. And when that happens, he's going to negate all of the other religions in the world, billions of people, that they were lied to, that all the religions are lies. And everyone will be interested only in serving God according to the Torah. For the non-Jews, 7 Noahide commandments, but for the Jews, the 613 commandments and all the commandments of the rabbis, and to do it with love and with awe and with joy. And that's the point we're talking about over here. The month of Elul is Ani Ladodi, serving God with all of my being, but Dodi Li, but God is giving me an awareness and a power to go out of myself and to serve even more than I want with joy. So this comes together. Ani Ladodi, that I am serving God, and Dodi Li, and God is giving me inspiration and power and vision to realize that whatever I'm doing is only a small picture, and that I am privy to a bigger picture. There's I'm the servant of the Creator. You know what that means? I don't know what it means. Well, in Elul, you do know what it means. You start to get a little bit of a feeling of Dodi Li. You realize who you're serving, and this gives you a tremendous energy and impetus and happiness and joy to serve the Creator. Okay, so the Yesh Lahosif, that's what he said, both of them together. The Yesh Lahosif, so we can add on Shach Kesher v'Sheichus, that the connection and the relevance of the Parshas Re'eh of this week's Torah portion. This week's Torah portion. What's going on? What's going on? Hello. Uh-oh. You see what's going on over here? My camera is rebelling against me. What's happening? Let me undo it. Ready? Rita. One minute. There we go. Good. Everyone see? Everyone here? Yes.
Yeah, no, it's better.
Okay. Did it do that thing by you? Did it flicker and all this?
It did, yeah.
All right, good. At least we're in the same boat. Here we go. Sheyesh Lahosi, if we can add on. Let me just see if this is still recording. Yeah. We can add on Shakesha Vashaychos, that the connection of Parshas Re'eh to the month of Elul, which that's the service of man from above to below. It means us serving God in a way which is totally above what we think is our limitations, because we have this Dodi Li, this is an inspiration from God. Who, B'Hadgasha, especially in this Shabbat, which is Rosh Chodesh Elul, in the year of Tafshin Nun Aleph. In that year that the Rebbe spoke, this is 1991, it ended up that the first day of Elul fell on Shabbat. By us, it doesn't work that way. By us, we have the first day of Elul will be on Friday. Not this Friday, but the Friday, coming Friday. Okay, so the year Tav Shin Nun Aleph is a year that reminds us that God is going to do miracles. Hayat Ta'eh, 5,000. 5,000. 700, Tuf and Shin. Tuf is 400, Shin is 300. 5,751. Now we're in 83. But the letters are almost the same thing. It will be the year of Niflot. This is our year is Pei. So Tuf, Shin, Plaot, and Gimel will be Gluyim, revealed. Made that up, just made that up. Okay. So this will be a year of revealed miracles. Now, as we said so many times before, a person could say, hey, 1 minute. The Rebbe said there was going to be big miracles. Moshiach was going to come. This was like 32 years ago. So that's it. We missed the bus. It's not going to happen. That's ridiculous. Why is it ridiculous? Because the Rambam says clearly, and that's what the Rambam says, and nobody disagrees with him, Moshiach must come. For sure, it's going to happen. There's no doubt about it. Mashiach is going to come. It's not just an imaginary thing. Take it or leave it. Mashiach is going to come. Just like the Jewish people were in Egypt, they never dreamed that they were going to get out of Egypt. And they said, it's going to happen. And when Moses came and said, I'm taking you out of Egypt, the Jewish people knew that this was going to happen, that it was a possibility. It was an option. It was going to happen. And there were other Jews that knew that it was a certainty. For sure, God was going to take them out of Egypt. Then only 1/5 of the Jews left Egypt. 4/5 remained in Egypt. But in the future, it's not going to be that way. And for sure, it's going to be. It's a certainty. There is no doubt. It is not an option. It is certain without any doubt at all that Mashiach for sure is going to change the whole entire world. That's what Judaism says. And Judaism still exists by virtue of that crazy idea that the whole world is going to be different. It's going to be changed. Whole world. And the reason it's not so crazy is if you look in the Torah, you see that the whole world is a creation anyway. So the whole thing is a miracle all the time. It's just because the miracle repeats itself, so we get used to it. Okay, so it says God is going to show us big miracles. When Mashiach comes, there's going to be Plaot. This is the year of Niflaot Areno. This year, Tafshin Nun Gimel, and we haven't got much left of it. It's going to be Plaot, miracles, Gdolot, big miracles. Ubahakdama, we can say the service of man in a way which is from above any limitation, Lamitit v'shlemot, which is only relevant to the Geula Amitit v'shlemot. If you serve God in a way which is above your limitations, you don't want to learn Torah, you learn Torah. You want to learn for 5 minutes, you learn for 6 minutes. You learn for 6 minutes, you learn for 8 minutes. You don't want to do commandments, you do a commandment. You do once a month, you do once a week, you do once a day. You do it a little more with a little more intention. You do a little more. It's infinitely increasing because God is infinitely good. The more that we reveal of godliness, but what is revealed of godliness and how much we can understand God is nothing compared to Dodi Li when God reveals himself to us. And that's encouraging us to serve God above our nature. That's the month of Elul, Ani Ladodi, but also Dodi Li. So we serve God above any sort of limitations that we think we have, we go out of them. Shenishmato hi bechinis yechida, that the soul of a Jew, that's the idea of the Mashiach. This is by means of the Mashiach. Mashiach's kingdom. Shenishmato, that the soul of the Mashiach, the personality of the Mashiach, this is the Yechida of the Klolos Yisrael. This is the inner soul and the inner personality of every Jew. That's what makes a Jew a Jew. Al Yadon, by means of this, Midgalit will be revealed. This Yechida Pratis, this by means of Mashiach will be revealed the inner identity, the inner true godly personality of every single Jew, the Nitzus Mashiach, the spark of Mashiach in every single Jew. This is what's called the 5th level. There's Nefesh, Ruch, Neshama, Chaya, and Yechida, 5th level. shechoder, that this permeates, bakal prati and yani avoda, that this permeates everything. There's everything in the world and everything in the service of God. There's a little book which is called Inyana Shel Torah Chasidut, and explains these 5 levels of the soul. And it says Mashiach is going to be this 5th level, and it's not really a level. This is like pure godliness, which cannot be, put in any sort of framework. Pure godliness, as is stressed in all the other Maimorim of Elul. 1 second, excuse me. Of Elul. The Inyan said this is especially stressed on Rosh Chodesh of Elul of this year. Tavshin Nun Aleph. Why? Because in addition to the fact that I am waiting for him every day that he should come, that's what the Rambam says, 13 principles of Jewish faith. A Jew must, you want to be a complete Jew, one of the complete 13 foundations of Jewish faith is you must wait for Mashiach. The Mashiach is supposed to come. Ubefrat, especially after Shekula Kol Akitzim, that so much time has passed and all of the projected times when Mashiach is supposed to come have already arrived. The Simu Kol Inyani Avoda, and we finished all of the service we have to do. The Nimtzaim B'Shanim, we are found now in a beginning, in a year, that the initials of it are that it should be a year of, I will show you miracles. Like the days of going out of Egypt, I will show you miracles. God said that going out of the future redemption will be miracles like going out of Egypt. Nobody dreamed it would go out of Egypt. The same thing is now the Rebbe is trying to say, get ready, because it's going to happen any minute now, any second. And even though that they said that 2,000 years ago was going to happen, so the Rebbe said, now for sure it's going to happen. So if the Rebbe said that after a 2,000-year disappointment, so we should also say after a 32-year disappointment, for sure Mashiach is going to come any second. Ukavar Ra'u, we've already seen many, many miracles. Hey, whether we're talking about the Geula Prat, whether we're talking about individual people, which the Rebbe knew about all these individuals because they sent him letters and things. On a general redemption, all the Jews got out of Russia. All of a sudden, Saddam Hussein shot all these missiles at Israel. Nobody got hurt. And especially and the Jewish people which are which are in Russia. Sharabi man, that many of them went out from this narrow place into a wide place. Whether simply we're talking about, or whether we're talking about le efsharut, that they have a possible, that they are now given the possibility in Russia to live as a Jewish life, according to Torah and mitzvahs. Huh? I mean, you can say whatever you want to about Gorbachev and about Putin and these people, but in fact, they allowed the Jews to live openly in the streets, Jewish lives. There's now Chabad houses all over Russia. There's Jews in Russia that are being woken up. They didn't even know they were Jewish, that their parents didn't know they were Jewish. And this is with the encouragement of the government. I mean, I don't know if you know it, but there's a huge, I don't know, 5-10 story, whatever it is, synagogue in Moscow, the central Chabad headquarters. It's opposite, it's on the other side of the street of the KGB offices. And there's KGB worker, that a policeman, that they're the doorman. The doorman, they check people to see that there's not going to. So it's exactly the opposite. All of a sudden they're realizing that Judaism is a good thing, and they're encouraging it. Until the last days, and the very last days, until the very last days, the Pula and Nimshach, it was continued even into these days. There is all of the emissaries of Chabad from many, many countries in the world. They made actually a convention of Chabad in Russia. Lubavitch, I think that they made it in Lubavitch and Liadi and Liazne and Rostov and Petersburg. The members of Chabad, many, many generations. There's nitkansu shluchim, that the emissaries of Chabad, they went into this, the emissaries of the previous Rebbe, because the Rebbe always said that the previous Rebbe, he's the Rebbe, and they gathered a picture of the previous Rebbe. We had a picture of him. Very nice. But they gathered in Russia, Mira Bira, in the main city. They went in Russia, in Moscow, the capital. Almanat, in order to add on more, spreading out more Torah, more commandments outward. That by means of this, Asimar, the Melech Mashiach, will come. And this year itself, we're already in Rosh Chodesh Elul. That's when the Rebbe was speaking. This is the month of accounting, the month of inventory on the whole previous year. That we're now making a sum total of what we've done up to this year, and what should be the sum total in the end. Ad Masai. How long is it going to take? All these things we're talking about, Moshiach and Moshiach and Moshiach and Moshiach, and it's going to be wonderful and it's going to be great, and all the Jews are going to go back. When is it going to happen? When are we going to stop talking about it and start seeing it? How can it be that we're after we've already finished 11 months of a year, which is called I will show you miracles, that the Mashiach has not yet come? Or in another way, in this week's Torah portion, Re'eh, see, I have given in front of you today a blessing. All of the types of blessings. First of all, the main blessing, which is the future, the Geula Mitit Shalema, the complete and total redemption and awakening of all the Jewish people. Shalom mafsik l'shomim, shalom maspik, sheshomim umevinim. It's not enough that we just hear and we understand that, behold, the Mashiach is here and the Mashiach is coming. But what? We have to see it. Ra'eh, that's this week's Torah portion. See, we have to see with our fleshly eyes that all the Jewish people, they return to their senses, and that there stops all this trouble and problem in the world, all the sickness and disease. Below rock ereno, not that I will show you, but Ra'eh, everyone will see now, not I will show you. Now we will see godliness, Mashiach. And in even more detail, this is the connection with everything in the day that we're in now, Shabbos. The Rebbe spoke on Shabbat. Shabbat, we're going to see how Mashiach reflects itself in all these things. Shabbat. Shabbat is something like the day which is totally Shabbat, where all the bad things and all of our jobs are all finished. Ubefrat a Shabbat Shlishi, and especially this is the third Shabbat in the 7 weeks of comfort. God is comforting us for the destruction of the temple. And also, this is the first day of Rosh Chodesh Elul, which, as I said before, this coming Shabbat will not be the first day of Chodesh Elul, rather the Friday after that will be. So the Rosh Chodesh Elul includes in it the whole idea of the redemption. What's the thing of the redemption? Rosh Chodesh. First of all, Rosh Chodesh generally says it's like the Jewish people are going to become renewed just like the moon. And especially if it's the first day of Elul, that in it is Tekef of Besmichos, is right next to the month of Av, which the month of Av, it says that the Mashiach was born in the month of Av. That the mazel, the zodiac of the month of Av is a lion. Because what? There will come the lion, which is God, and he'll build the lion, which is the Holy Temple. The Holy Temple was called the lion because it was a little bit wider in the front than it was in the back, like a crouching lion. And especially Keshaomdim, B'yom Shloshim, the Chodesh Menachem Av, we're finished with the month of Av, we're the 30th day, which is the finishing of all of the negative things of the month of Av as well. That was the month where the temple was destroyed. So we're finished with that. And even more, and in fact, all those bad things were only in order, almanat, on condition that there would come the lion who is God and he will build the third temple. And this is relevant also to the month of Elul. Aleph is an Aryeh, is the lion. Aryeh, that's the first letter of lion, which is God and the Holy Temple, and the first letter of Elul. And we're also now in Parshat Re'eh. Parshat Re'eh also indicates on Mashiach. Geula, that the future redemption will be in a way of Re'eh, seeing. Like we said before, it won't just be an intellectual or a spiritual thing. Don't you see it? Don't you feel it? Everyone will see and feel. They'll point to their finger. Look at that. Look at it. Ukamaramu was like it's hinted at the Siyam, the end of the Torah portion in Chag HaSukkot, that says over there that the end of this week's Torah portion talks about the holiday of Sukkot, and especially Shmini Atzeret, the end of Sukkot, like the number 8 represents the future redemption. Like it says that the harp of the Mashiach will have 8 strings. And this is especially stressed also in the Haftorah of this, which I'll go over. Maybe I'll try to go over it today. that when Shabbat Parshas Re'eh, we don't maftir and Shabbos Nechemta. I tried to upload from last year, but it ended up like the Rebbe is saying. Last year, Shabbat fell on Rosh Chodesh. So when Shabbat falls on Rosh Chodesh, we don't read the comforting Haftorah. We read the Haftorah, which is relevant to every Rosh Chodesh. But this year, it doesn't. So I'll try, God willing, to upload that this afternoon. I'll try to upload it, and but it's talking about Shabbos Rosh Chodesh. So the Haftorah of Rosh Chodesh Shabbos, this is relevant to comforting. This comforts us. It says over there, Ke'ish asher imo tenachameo, like a man whose mother comforts him. So God says, I will comfort you, Jerusalem, and I will comfort you, and you will be comforted. And also many sentences which talk about the future redemption. Like for instance, Simchu et Yerushalayim, rejoice Jerusalem, Gilubo, and they say be exalted, happy. And I will bring your brothers from all of the nations to the house of God. Until finally the end, where it says, where it says, it will be every month in its month, and every Shabbat in its Shabbos, all flesh will come to bow down before me in the holy temple. Even though in the Haftarah it doesn't have to end with something good, but here it does end with something good because we're talking about the month of Elul and the future redemption. Also, okay, this is talking about in that year that the Rebbe spoke. So let's just skip that. Also, when we read in the reading, what do we read? And when we finish in Mincha of Shabbat, we read. This is talking about the second Haftarah that we read in what was last year. This year it wasn't relevant. Okay, in Mincha of Shabbat, we read the first few lines of next week's Torah portion. What's next week's Torah portion? Shoftim v'shotrim titen lecha. Judges and policemen, enforcers, I will put in all of your gates. That this will only be, when will God put judges in all the places where Jews live and policemen to enforce what the judges say? Only when Mashiach comes. Like it says, Ashiva Shabtayach Harishona, I will bring back the judges like in the beginning, the Yoatzayach Betchila, and your advisors like they were at first. Like the Rambam says, Kabbalah Yi, it says it is accepted from generation to generation that when Mashiach comes, that in Tiberia, the city of Tiberia in Israel, the city of Tiberia, how do they call it, Tiberias? In Tiberia, there will be first the Sanhedrin, and from there it will go to the Holy Temple. Okay, what do we have to do? Yesh lefarsem. So here we have all these signs of Mashiach, and now Mashiach is tremendously late, and now he has to arrive in any instant. And now he's going to fix up the whole world, and there won't be any more pain or suffering or confusion or famines or difficulties or frustrations. The whole world will be the way it's supposed to be, healthy, wonderful. Every human being will be so grateful that he's being created by God, and every human being will be grateful for every other human being, because every human being has something to contribute to the world. So the more human beings, the better, and the more everyone will appreciate everyone else and be able to see the good in everyone else. But it's not here, and it's supposed to be every second. So that should sort of make us crazy, and we should do everything that we can. What are we supposed to do? Poel, yesh lefarsem, we have to advertise, or rare, and to arouse. Makom, every single place. Derech, about avoda miyucheres, the special service of the month of Elul, which is hinted at in the 5 initials that we talked about before. The 5, what is it? Things that are indicated by the 4 letters of Elul, which we said is what? Torah, Aleph, Lamed, Vav, Lamed. We said it before. It's even in the Shulchan Aruch. The month of Elul, these 4 letters are hinting at 4 sentences that have these 4 initials in them that hint at learning Torah. You have to increase in learning Torah. Tefillah, prayer. Gamilat chasadim, give more charity. Tshuva, we have to return to our true senses, our creator, and to think about the Geula, the future redemption. We brought these 5 different initials. We brought Ubehed Gasha Yutcheren, especially regarding the first letter, the 5th letter, the 5th of these initials. Aleph Lamed Vav Lamed Omru Lashem Vayomru Lo. Imru Lashem Vayomru Lo. These are the first, this is the hinting at the future redemption. Kafi, like it will be permeated in everything of service. Al Yadezeh, by means of this, that it is permeated and made in a spirit of Geula. Everything that we do has to be in a spirit and an awareness that there's going to be a future redemption. And this is especially done by means of learning Chassidut, or learning things in the Torah that talk about the future redemption. Mitoch tzefia, with a longing and a certainty, a total certainty that immediately we will see with our physical eyes, Parshas Re'eh, hine, behold, Mashiach has already come. Simply, what it means, we have to announce and we have to advertise in every place in words that are genuine. How do you say, coming from the heart, that God said by means of his servants, the prophets, to every single Jew. He said it by means of Moses. Ra'eh, see, I am putting before you today a blessing. God wants to bless and is blessing everyone in the world, beginning with the Jews. The Ad Shayom Mamash, today, we'll see with our flesh eyes the blessing of the future redemption. Tell people, God is blessing you. He's blessing everyone. And the biggest blessing of all is Mashiach now. Yesh lo, see if we can add on, and to stress, she, ha'achraza, that announcing and advertising, like we said before, has to be by means of those people, even by those people that claim that people won't accept this. It's not an acceptable idea. It's outside of understanding. People won't get this idea. They'll stop coming to my Chabad house. If I tell everybody that Mashiach is here, people don't like to hear about this. The Kivin Shagam Islam, because by them there is also every Jew has a true faith, and they are able to advertise these things. And they can advertise these things to other people, beginning with the people in their household. So certainly they don't have to, lisbol, they don't have to suffer from the fact that they are not understanding things. You're telling your family, it's your family. So tell your family. The Rebbe says Mashiach is supposed to come. Mashiach is any second, any instant is supposed to be here. But call ELUL, and those people are around you. First of all, start with people that you know, not strangers. And then from there, you can work out that everybody, anytime you get in a conversation, you can say, any second Mashiach is supposed to come. So certainly by means of your efforts, proper efforts, other people will accept what you say, including yourself. Right? You don't believe it. Tell it to other people. I'm telling you it's true. And when you see that they believe it, then maybe you'll start to believe it also. I know people that go and they do mitzvah and they put tefillin on people in the streets. And they come back and they say, religious Jews, Chabad. And they say, maybe there really is something to this tefillin business. I see this. He was really interested in putting on tefillin. He was more interested than I am. They inspire you. When you talk about Mashiach to other people, then maybe you'll start to believe it yourself. May it be God's will that talking about all this, we will merit immediately on this Shabbat to a total redemption by means of Mashiach Tzidkenu, actually. And especially and especially when we attach this when we say l'chaim. We make l'chaim with a lot of people, the basic Knesset, and we're in a synagogue, we're in a base of midrash, everyone will see it. L'chaim uvaracha, said the Rebbe, to life and to blessing. The call I'm assuming to everyone that's here, and by means of them, to all the Jewish people wherever they are, that they should be blessed, all of them as one, with all of the blessings, and a way of ra'eh, seeing. I am giving to you today a blessing. Everyone, including the blessing of Kasiv v'Chasim Tova, have a good year be written and inscribed for a good year and a sweet year. How much more so the blessing, the main blessing is the Geula mitit shlema. There should be a complete redemption by means of the Moshiach. To every single Jew, we should point to with our finger and say, here it is. And the language it says in the Torah, the Chosim, and it ends up Zota Bracha. This is the that's the end of the Torah. This is the blessing that blessed Moses. That we read this in Simchas Torah at the end of all the holidays, and he did it to before the eyes of all the Jewish people. She matkifim techila, that we connect the beginning of the Torah to the end of the Torah. Bereshis bora Elokim et hashamayim v'torah. At Simchas Torah we read both, right then. At the Shemayim, and the new heavens and the new earth that I will create, like it says before. And so it will be to us. Sheba'emshech, the Yischadshus, the Brias, Habriya, Barosh Hashanah, that in addition to the renewal of the world and Rosh Hashanah, that's what the Jewish people celebrate on Rosh Hashanah, right? The creation of the world. By means of celebrating the creation of the world, that we'll have this year will be a new wondrous year. A world that there will be a new light, which has never shined, a new light of godliness, awareness, which has never shined before. But by means of this, we will merit on this Shabbos, Rosh Chodesh ELUL. Okay, Rosh Chodesh ELUL, that the world will be renewed. There'll be a new heavens, a new earth. It says this right afterwards. It says there's going to be a new Torah. It means we'll see the godliness in everything. We'll see the godliness. It's not going to be a new moon and a new sun. We'll just see the godliness in everything. The same thing with the Torah. We'll see the godliness in the Torah. B'yachad, together with a big novelty of the Torah, will be a complete Torah. Torah chadasha me'iti teitzeh. We'll feel the godliness in every word of the Torah. But kol hakahal amen. Everyone should say amen. Like you say, it is greater to say amen more than the one who says the blessing. In a way of gavurim notzchim. In a way of when how do you say that the stronger ones, they overpower, they win. That's the saying amen means that we're overpowering anything. Amen ken yiratzon. Any negative forces are going to be defeated. Amen ken yiratzon. Mashiach. No. So what the Rebbe is trying to do is make us crazy and expecting Mashiach is supposed to come any instant, and it depends on our acting accordingly. Mashiach is going to come and inspire us to do more work. So do more work now. Be more excited about all the 5 things that are hinted at in these 4 letters of Ani, Ladodi, Ladodi, Li. Learn more Torah. Pray deeper with more meaning. Give more charity. Try to return your awareness more to the Creator, tshuva, and wait for the Geula. And we should have Geula right now. Yechiel Melech, the Rebbe is the Mashiach, and it has to happen any second. Why it's not happening now, I don't know. But we should never even consider giving up. Our eyes are to the future. Our eyes are to the present. Mashiach now. Okay, now we're going to do the Yom Yom.